So over at MIT, they put together a paper about your brain on ChatGPT, the acclimation of cognitive debt when using an AI assistant for an essay writing task. So basically what went over was that things like ChatGPT and OpenAI and all that bullshit, people are engaging with these things on a daily basis, doing all of the mental work through it and not learning how to do the thing that they want to do through it. It would be different. Here's an example. Someone who is ESL, which means English as a second language. Their English is pretty bad and they still can speak English, right? But they want to write an email that sounds professional. They want to write one to a company on a cover letter. So they go to AI and they write in their English and they say, can you help me figure this out? Because they clearly don't have the skills to do that and they want to write a proper cover page, right? So they see what the AI has written, and what they do is they write their own version of that, learning from the experience, right? Or they can ask one of their English friends. But I'm just using an example, okay? Using example because I know a lot of people who don't speak English, they will do that to sound better they're basically using it to sound better for themselves, okay? They're trying to improve their situation, all right? And the second use is organizing things, like putting things in an outline, putting things in lists, you know what I mean? Those types of things where people might have maybe their to-do list and they're I need to do this. Can you help me put this in what would be the most time efficient? I'm just bullshitting. That's what I think. I think as an organizer or an idea thing. I'm not saying you should use AI. I'm saying that it shouldn't be used in a lot of different instances, but I know that people use it in a way, but I don't think you should be using it to learn a skill. And I definitely don't think you should be using it to generate images, or you shouldn't be making anything with it. I've said before that if AI is involved in any part of the process, it should be the pre-production. I use an example, let's say there's a small team, a small video game team, and they have an artist that they've hired, a really good artist, and the head guy is I have an idea for these monsters, and they give him some examples of AI generated monsters that are kind of similar, and then he will go and he will make his own versions of those based on that. That is what I think when I think pre-production, where he'll make up a concept based off something where it cuts into that's not what I wanted, that's not what I thought it would look like, that's not the vibe I was going for, making less work, less brain work, so the artist that you have is not wasting their time redrawing something. That's kind of what I mean. Now, we're going to get to this paper. So the paper says that like any other tool, it carries its own advantages and limitations. The study focuses on finding out the cognitive cost of using an LLM in educational context of writing an essay, right? So there's 3 assigned groups: the LLM group, the search engine group, and the brain-only group, where each participant used a designated tool or no tool in the latter to write an essay. We've conducted 3 sessions with the same group assignment for each participant. On the 4th session, we asked the LLM group participants to use no tools. We refer to them to LL to brain. And the brain-only group participants were asked to use LLM, brain to LLM. And we recruited 54 participants. And on top of that, they had an EEG, which is like a thing they put on their brain so they can see the activity going on and the cognitive load and gain a deeper understanding of what's going on when they're doing work, right? So let's talk about what they found. So the people who did everything themselves showed way more brain activity and memory and critical thinking and creativity. It all lit up in their brain. The Google group did okay too. Almost similar, but not better than the brain one. But the ChatGPT group, their brains were quiet because there was almost no effort taken to actually do the work, because the work was all done by the AI, so there wasn't a lot of cognitive activity. And That's because when AI writes for you and AI does all the work for you, you don't have to think. You're not thinking and you don't learn. And it's like you're kind of borrowing power from ChatGPT, but you're not paying yourself back. You're not actually learning anything. And of course, you get the answers fast, but your brain's not growing. So for example, when I had an idea about like I've been looking for how to do a certain type of coloring. So I've been doing research and trying to find out what that's called and what kind of artists do it. And I still haven't found an artist. I found a person who does it, but I'm trying to imitate it. And I know it starts in one way, and I'm trying to find other artists to do the same thing. But I'm learning as I'm going about different type of artists and different type of like art flows so that I can emulate it myself. So I will have learned something new by the time I get to what I'm trying to learn. You shouldn't be letting it do all your work. So I kind of want to look at the figures, but I did want to say like, you should be thinking about ChatGPT as like a calculator, or it's like, yeah, it's good to have a calculator, but you still do need to understand. Of course, we're not gonna divide 2 squared by some crazy fucking number. We're not gonna fucking do that. But we do know how to do simpler versions. And I'm sure that if we wanted to go tinfoil mode, we could go and we could do it. So we're gonna go talk now about these things here. All right, look at this. All right, it says here, figure 6, a percentage of participants within each group who struggle to quote anything from their essays in session 1. I'm going to turn off my model so we can see this. As you can see here, the ability to quote, they couldn't quote more than 90% of the people couldn't quote anything. And then down here, a little bit over 10%, like 11%, which is very low. So that means most people were able to quote things from the essays that they talked about. Now it says here, the percentage of participants within each group that provided a correct quote from their essays in session 1. So this actually, LLM was like, no, cannot do it. Cannot do it at all. Brain was actually, is that saying that, hold on. I guess the search engine was actually better than your brain. But you know what? I kind of understand that, because if you're using your brain, you're going based off of information that you already have in there. But this, you have recent memory, so your short-term memory would be here, but you're working off of long-term memory, which can be a little bit fantasy. Let's see here. A figure 8, relative percentage perceived by ownership of the essay, brain group based in 1. Oh, okay. So the feeling of like they learned something here. Interesting. But most people over here felt like they didn't own or learn the information. Let's see, figure 9, satisfaction. So it looks like report percentage of satisfaction with written essay by participants per group after session 1. Search engine was 100% satisfied, probably because they had all the information. This group, I can see this being realistic, where there would be, people who didn't feel as confident, and these people felt also confident, and some people didn't feel confident because AI did all the work, obviously. Clearly, these motherfuckers cannot quote shit, which is, obviously the brain is doing more work. So correct quoting, obviously this is exactly what I expected. Average distance between 4 sessions and other search engine, brain only search engine. So, all right, so this is brain activity, okay? From one thing to another. So from search engine to brain, there is quite a bit, because obviously there's more work involved, going from having something easily available to nothing. And then from brain to search engine, there wasn't a lot because it was already working. Search engine to, obviously there's less work because they already did work. Brain only to LLM, it means you're literally disengaging because you did so much work. You did the same work here, and now you're disengaging. And from here, which is the LLMs to ChatGPT to brain only, kind of means that your brain has to fucking wake up. Your brain is literally asleep. Now, I'm not going to go over literally every single graph. I just wanted to talk to you about the graph and about the study. I think it proves that in general, it's kind of what I've been saying all along. Like, AI in general is it has its uses. I understand that people are using it, but when it comes down to it, you can't use it as a replacement for anything that needs you to have your brains being fired off. Sure, people are going to write a fucking email to their boss because they don't want to. Sure, I know people who have social issues are probably going to use it to talk to, which they shouldn't as a friend. It's not your friend. It's not your family. It's not a therapist. It's not a character. It's literally a bot. It's a bot. It does a specific set of things, and you should stop asking it to do all sorts of stuff because that's fucking crazy talk to me. If you're using it, like, I know some people have jobs where they have office jobs, and instead of taking the time to write 16 emails, they'll just have the AI write 16 emails and then they'll send them all and they'll save themselves some time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as we get further and further into the AI stuff, it's okay. Like, I feel like if people are trying to lower the bar on their brain a little bit, like lower the activity on their brain a little bit, because sometimes, like, office work is very emotionally and mentally fatiguing. It just is. And it would be like, I would say, I'm gonna make a little theory here. AI for the office worker is the big machinery for the contractor worker. Does that make sense? They're not using it for everything. They're using it when they need to, and they're not using it when they don't have to. You know? Because if you're going to send a bunch of guys to do your job, then why do they need you? But if you're using it as a way to, I don't know. Like, I think that the AI has its place, but at the same time, I think that people who are using it excessively are just going to find themselves dumber in the long run, especially if you're not taking the time to think of your own responses. And oh my gosh, they're coming to get me, guys. They're coming to get me. Oh no, it's ice coming to get me. But is this what you guys expected to find when you guys saw this? Did you guys expect to see that people who use ChatGPT are fucking dumber than people who don't? Did you expect that your brain is basically asleep when you're using ChatGPT? Like, I know people use ChatGPT. I know you all do it. I know you do it. I know. I feel like everybody uses it sometimes. That's just me. It's whatever if you're using it. It's just whatever. But you're not enriching your life if you're obsessively using AI. I feel that you are lending all of the work of your brain to a machine. And if you're lending all the work to a machine, why are you even here? What are you even doing? Why are you giving away your brain, your thoughts, your feelings, your mental anguish, your creativity? You're giving it all to a machine. Why? Why would you do that? I know a lot of people in my audience aren't doing that. But if there's people that are not my audience and they're doing it, why? Do you just not value, like, your thought process? Do you not value learning? Like, I love learning. I would love to go back to college if I could, but obviously I can't. But I would love to go back. There's just nothing I could learn that I think would be worth my time. Maybe an animation class so I could be, like, forced to do it. I don't know. But if you guys like this video, please like it. Please share it around if you could. I would really appreciate that. Thank you to all my Patreons, because I got a new one, and I really appreciate everyone. And if you want to support the channel, please subscribe to my Patreon, and please subscribe to my channel, because I want to get to 20,000 by the end of the year. That would be so cool if you could be one of those and help me out. And I will see you in the next one, guys. Peace out.